Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Come on!
Live from Yoga Soul in Nashville, Tennessee. This is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center, New York, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to Nashville. Down here at Yoga Soul, my favorite studio, south in the deep south.
South of the Mason-Dixon line?
South of the Mason-Dixon line, here with Stephen and Cindy. They created this incredible space here in Nashville, giving shelter to all of us. And we're here with Nick B. from Nashville and the teacher training crew, Sabrina. We get the whole posse here. We get live. And we're going to be here today and tomorrow doing the show.
Okay.
Taught a class yesterday, doing a kirtan tonight. Looking forward to hanging with everybody, catching up with Zoomers, others, and people I've met on my many trips to Nashville. How are you?
Good, Raghunath.
Good. Everything good, Mara? Everything good at the fort?
Everything's good.
Hold down the fort, feeding the dog?
Yep.
All right. Okay.
What's going on today, Raghunath? You're a little... something's going on. I don't know what it is today.
I'm thinking of stuff. Okay. I woke up early. Couldn't sleep. Had stuff on my mind. You got to really... yoga, you got to really get the mind peaceful, or it just like can disturb you. And disturb your life. It's a whole gist of yoga. And you got to be able to, you got to be able to take things even that you're struggling with and like just put it on a shelf and put it in a bag that says, Krishna, I trust you to work this thing out. I can't work it out. There's thousands of ways it could all become disastrous, but I'm going to trust that you have some greater plan for me. Put it in the greater plan bag and then shake it up. Krishna, do your magic. It's out of my control. That's what I needed to do today. But instead, I woke up early after 4 hours of sleep and just chanted japa, which was also good, I guess.
Okay. You know what else you need to do today, Raghunath?
What?
Check in with Mara for announcements.
We have Bhakti Recovery Group meetings at 1 and 9:30.
That was a cue, Raghunath. You just sat there like all like disappointed or something.
That was just like such like a newscaster thing to say. Now we're gonna check in. Now what else is check in with Mara? What's up, Mara?
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, there we go. We have Bhakti Recovery Group meetings at 1 and 9:30 p.m. Eastern time today. Also, there's still a couple spots left for the Wisdom of the Sages retreat at Super Soul Farm, October 6th through 9th. So
very psyched for that. All the stars are coming out for that.
It's like we do that, and then we break to India,
I know. We do that, and then we just break for India. Yeah. Really exciting. Kastuba stayed in India for like 5 months.
5 months.
I know. It's going to be amazing.
That would be the second longest time I ever spent in India.
All right.
In one shot. Also, things are continue to fill up the spots in the Sage groups. It's something like 68% full now. So time to sign up for that. Go to wisdomofthesages.com and then click on Sage Groups.
Sure. There's one spot left. Get it right now. It's one spot. get in it right now, get
Right,
offline right now, get on that Wisdom of the Sages website, or you're going to miss out. If you're going to miss out, it's really fun and you're going to miss out on all of it.
And we were just released just a few minutes ago a little reel about our wisdom training this January on Instagram.
Looking forward.
Yeah,
And
we
GOG Life
collaborated
Coaching
on
is
it.
going to be with us.
That's gonna
And
be
she's
awesome.
good. Yeah, so it's going to be studying Vedic literature, lots of kirtan, incredible prasad. Radha Swami is going to be there, and boom, we also
A little
have
recovery.
a
as well.
little recovery if you want it as well.
So
Looking
go
forward
to our Instagram, Wisdom of the Sages Instagram, my Instagram, Raghunath's Instagram. You'll see that reel there. You'll see the link. You'll see everything you need.
or just go to the website wisdomofthesages.com.
And like the reel, share it, whatever.
Yeah, share it.
Okay.
All right, you ready
Okay.
for a little nugget, sir?
Yeah, we're gonna go way back in time for this nugget.
Back in time because it's from Chanakya Pandit. Chanakya Pandit was like a sort of like a minister, sort of like a
An advisor.
advisor to the kings, you know. So a lot of people quote him in India.
Yeah, he's got a whole books like with all his quotes, right? And all his
Yeah, what are they called?
maxims.
Maxims of Chanakya.
Chanakya.
There is no austerity equal to a balanced mind,
Okay,
and there is no happiness equal to contentment.
interesting.
There is no disease like covetousness,
Covetousness.
and there is no virtue like mercy.
Mm,
Like a lot there.
yeah. Do you want to unpack it? Do you want me to start?
What pops up to you first? Which one of those pops up for you?
Well, it's not. It's all of them together. What I'm noticing is that there's a little bit of like he's not going where you necessarily would think he would go. Like there's no austerity like someone might expect lying on the bed of nails, or there's no austerity like
Why do they do that?
Mona Vrata or something like that. There's no austerity like there's so many sitting in the ring of fire underneath the sun in the middle of the day.
Right.
No, there's no austerity like equal to a balanced mind. What it takes to have a balanced mind and the value of having a balanced mind is way beyond lying on the bed of nails or sitting in the ring of fire.
Cold plunge.
There's different tapasyas people do, right? People do tapasya. They do. One reason people do tapasya, and that's going to maybe come up today a little bit, is you get power.
Well, you get power. Like everyone's doing cold plunges right now. You get a type of power from it.
You get a kind of power.
What's actually happening is it's separating you from your senses and mind. Because if you've ever taken a cold shower, taken a cold plunge, the first thing you have to say is,
mind.
mind. The mind is saying, don't do it. Now's not the time to do it. And you just got to do it. You have to do it, even though your mind is shouting other things. So you develop a healthy spirit separate than the mind's, barking. And that's a huge thing to become successful in anything in life. Yeah. Like I'm going to do what doesn't feel good because I know it's going to be good for me.
Right. And I mean, even in just any kind of practice we see, when you dedicate yourself to it and you dedicate your time to it and you give your hours to it and you drill yourself in it and you take up that austerity, you get power from it, But these texts like Mahabharata and Bhagavatam and Ramayana, they show many times, and they speak about this principle that through austerity one does gain power. And if we want to gain the power of a yogi, and by that I don't mean necessarily like the mystic powers, but I mean the control that they have.
Sure.
And austerity will be necessary. We'll have to rise early. It's not an absolute principle, but it's a general principle that the yogi is going to sleep early, rise early. They're going to control their diet. They're going to take up different austerity. So anyway, with austerity, that was a little twist on a balanced mind is this unequaled austerity. Then when it gets to happiness, there's no happiness like, and there's so many things you could put in that blank there. Right?
There's a lot of fill in the blanks here. And immediately when you say happiness, you're thinking, okay, here's that perfect beach, or here's that perfect vacation, or here's that perfect car, motorcycle, mountain bike, whatever I'm desiring out there to be happy. But it's not can I be happy with more of this? Can I be happy with less of this? You know, it's a real test of your happiness. Can I be happy with can I be happy without thinking, how can I get more? Can I be happy with less? And that's sort of like an impressive thing. In bhakti, we all of these things, we're sort of the real separate, the real austerity, the real contentment, the real disease, etc. When you put bhakti at the center of it. So for the first one, for example, what's the austerity? Is it to lay on the bed of nails, to take the cold plunge? It's whatever I can do best to help me connect with divinity.
Take that austerity.
Right? Take that austerity. It might mean you have to go into a really dangerous neighborhood and set up a temple. For some reason, you're put in this neighborhood and you feel like there's a lot of people who need food or need housing, and you got to take care of them. That's your austerity. And you got to deal with that. Some people are in very expensive neighborhoods and they want to give bhakti in that way. Whatever it is for you to give Krishna and to serve Krishna and to serve the devotees of Krishna, that becomes your austerity, and everything's going to have some type of thing working against it. And that's the austerity you have to deal with. There's no happiness to an equal mind. There is no happiness equal to contentment.
There's no happiness equal to contentment. Yeah. So, there's so many things that we may think, oh, that would give me happiness. But no. That's going to come. It's going to go. It's going to be followed by misery. Contentment is this type of happiness that a wiser person is interested in. Okay.
There's no disease like covetousness. Covetousness, Mara? You went to private school.
Smallpox. What about?
Yeah, smallpox is pretty bad. How about dengue fever? That's pretty bad.
Is that one where your flesh starts?
Leprosy?
Ebola.
Leprosy is pretty bad.
Leprosy is Ebola.
There's no disease like Ebola. Let's change this. Nope, there's no covetousness. That means I want what you have, right? Covetousness.
Yeah, desire, material desire. It's like it's the source of all. That is our disease. That's the disease that throws us into the world where all the other diseases come from. Or all the diseases exist, right? It's It's the foundational disease.
Right.
Material desire
is out of control desire.
Yeah.
And if you got out of control desire, there is nothing in this world that can fulfill it.
That's right.
So that's why we say you got to control your desire. Matter of fact, you got to just refine your desire.
Yeah.
So it's not like we don't desire anything. We just desire, okay, what will actually nourish my soul? That's what I desire.
Yeah. And then no virtue like mercy.
No virtue like mercy.
It's kind of like, I suppose mercy. Why do you think that is, Rebbe? No virtue like mercy.
I think I got to think deeper about this one. It probably is like the source of maybe all other virtues. It might be like the fountainhead of all other virtues.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
because the opposite of mercy, which is sort of like, people are suffering, you trample upon them. I'm in a position. It's all based on my ego. Someone's like coming to me, apologizing, and I just like kick them. You know what I mean? So to be merciful means you don't have to go out of your way to be kind to them, but you're going to do it anyway. It's not like they've done nothing to deserve perhaps mercy, but you're going to give it because you just care. It could be the fountainhead of all other virtues come from mercy.
Or maybe also it has something to do with the idea that I believe Jesus, I forget if it was the Sermon on the Mount, but when he said, blessed are these people, for they shall receive this, that part. Is that the Sermon on the Mount? Come on,
no.
Come on, Catholic boy.
No, I come off very Christian, but I don't know that.
Do you?
I do. I think I come off very Christian.
Okay.
I'm always singing Christmas carols. That's pretty Christian. I quote the Bible occasionally. I go to church with my mom when I see her.
But I somewhere there Jesus says that blessed are those that show mercy because they will receive it. The Beatitudes. It's the Beatitudes.
It's The attitudes. Okay.
So we all need, mercy means that we go beyond justice. And if we're all going to, in a sense, to use the Christian terminology, to be saved, right? If we're going to break free of the control of the modes of material nature and to break free from the samsara, the cycle of birth and death, it'll require mercy for us. But those that get it are those that show it, and so do we have that kind of kindness? Are we willing to show that kind of kindness that is essential to mercy, right? That, okay, maybe this person deserves something else, but I'm going to overlook the shortcomings. I'm going to overlook the faults. I'm going to overlook the offenses and find the person underneath it. If I can do that, then likely I can be shown that mercy as well.
Why don't you read those last couple of verses in the Bhagavad Gita, the second to last and the third, about there's no one more dear, right? So this is the idea behind, well, he digs that up. This is the idea behind bhakti and behind even like the 12-step program and probably all spiritual programs, is that we step forward by reaching out, by helping others, we're helping ourselves. So that's the idea of constantly wanting to serve, and that desire to serve is actually helping us. Sometimes I'm in my sort of self-contentment I start to get into my own head and I start to think about my own problems. The best way to get out of your own head is to go out and try to serve other people who are going through their personal hell. That's the best way I find to get out of my own head.
Okay.
You got those verses I'm talking about?
I do. For one who, this is Bhagavad Gita 1868 and 69.
Yeah.
For one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and in the end they will come back to me. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear.
Isn't that, I mean, can't you just like tattoo those on your chest and live your life by those two verses?
I
mean,
think
those
it's more
are
important that we live our
very,
life according to them, but
I think it's more
things
important
are-
that you just tattoo them.
Okay. Different views.
No, I mean, those are such powerful verses. It feels like we should just paint them on our wall of our living room. And like, this is so important. How can I make this a practical part of my life? How can I give these away? How can I give this
come in many
away?
different ways, right?
Well, first of all, it can just from reading the Gita repeatedly, so you understand what you're given, what you're giving away. But yeah, that can come in a million different ways according to our own unique,
Sure.
skills, abilities, talents, situation.
But getting back to Chanakya, like when I read this, what it reminds me of, Raghunath? It's like sometimes you see those films that are like sometimes like a kind of what a whoever's writing the script, what do you call them? A screenwriter, or a playwright or whatever.
Playwright.
They'll take like if it's like one of these ones with like a large cast, there's like quite a few characters and they're all put in a difficult situation. Sometimes it's like they're at war together, right?
Yeah.
They're in a submarine together. They're in a foxhole together, or and you get to see something about the character of each person that's there, right?
Right.
Like there's always like the New York guy. It's kind of like cliche, right? Yeah, from Brooklyn. Yeah, what do we got?
I'm in the submarine.
Some Nazi, yeah. And then you got like this down south guy, right? And you get all these different kind of characters. But it's also beyond just kind of like contrasting where they're from and their outer characteristics. Usually it's also showing that like some of these people kind of hot-headed, and everything that they're going through is kind of like putting them through a whole spin, and everybody's getting sick of that person complaining or going on. And then there's kind of this cool-headed person, that's walking through it, and that in a sense the others become dependent on, like in the long run. Like maybe at first they see that person as like not cool or whatever, but then you get to realize that person is able to walk through all the ups and downs or walk through hell with a steady mind, and that person the kind of like the playwright is kind of like pointing us towards that as like, oh, here is wisdom, here's someone deeper, here's someone that understood something more about life.
Mm.
And so when I read this from Chanyaka, yeah, there's people may do austerities sometimes. We do them, you know, people do it today. Like, you know, they want to do the Iron Man things, or they want to. You're saying the cold plunge things,
Austerity.
but
Yeah.
let's understand. Yeah, let's understand where it's meant to lead, or what the essence of it is, or what a balanced mind. You know,
Sure.
happiness, contentment. You know, let me let go of covetousness. You know, let me show mercy. It's showing a character that's got a cool head. That's and what's the cool head based on? They're understanding what's going on behind the scenes. You know, they kind of get it. You know, just like in those war movies or something like that, right? There'll be like someone's complaining, like, "Oh, the general sent us over here. You know, what's the matter with these idiots?" or something like that. You know, like. And then the cool-headed person, he's kind of got a bigger picture. Like he's understanding, like the generals are doing the best that they can, and we don't know the circumstances that they're dealing with. So there's no need for me to go into this whole mental loop. Let me just make the best of this circumstance right now. You know, so Shastra's always calling us to that. You know, to have that kind of cool head, to have it by seeing what's going on behind the scenes. And that's a lot of what we've been hearing about in this chapter, right? Daksha's pointing it out, and now Vishnu speaking. So there'll also be, I think, more today about austerity that'll be interesting too.
I heard something interesting in Sanskrit, the breakdown of the word, and I don't know if this is true, and sometimes they do this in Sanskrit where they give many meanings, but shastra.
This may or may not be true, but
this may or may not be true.
But we're going to throw it out there.
But I got to say it anyway.
Yeah.
The word shastra
is from Astra.
And shabda, sound, the weapon of sound. Isn't that a cool thing? It's a weapon of sound. So if you don't know, the word shastra means like sacred literature. So it could be the Srimad Bhagavatam, could be the Vishnu Purana, could be the Bhagavad Gita. That's shastra. So shastra is a weapon of sound that is killing your avidya, your ignorance. Oh, you like that?
I like that, Raghunath.
It might not be true, but I think it could be.
I think it is true.
I think it could be very true.
Yeah.
You've heard it probably from me at another time.
No.
That
goes. That's there. Mara, could you work on that? Shastra, Astra.
Sure.
Thank you.
Mara.
She's on it.
Violet. Okay.
All right. Ready?
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, and to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshu badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati utamashloki bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet.
Yeah.
Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 4, Text 46, I think.
47.
47.
We did 46 yesterday.
Can't do anything without Mara here.
Any what were you working on? Shastra, Astra? Still working on that, Mara?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say that that's correct what Raghu said.
All right.
Although it's not backed up by Wikipedia or Yogapedia thus far, but it's a little difficult to find.
There's a Yogapedia?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I bet if you just write Shastra and don't use the H, and Astra and don't use an H, you might come up with something.
Interesting.
Okay.
Google clues from Kastuba.
I was thinking, how would Kastuba Google this? How am I supposed to look this up?
Okay, Raghu.
Right,
47?
47. Before the creation of this cosmic manifestation, I alone existed with my specific spiritual potencies. Consciousness was then manifested, just as one's consciousness is unmanifested during the time of sleep.
Read that
Interesting.
again. Read that again.
Before the creation of this is Vishnu speaking. Before the creation of the cosmic manifestation, I alone existed with my specific spiritual potencies. Consciousness was then unmanifested, just as one's consciousness is unmanifested during the time of sleep.
So you had a big empty universe at first, right? From what I've heard, Raghunath, these 3 verses. Yesterday we read Vishnu was saying, "My body, austerity is the form of meditation in my heart. Vedic knowledge is the form of Vedic hymns. Mantras constitute my body. Spiritual activities and ecstatic motions are my actual form." So this had a lot to do with conceiving of a form of God through spoken to someone with a mind focused on karma, right? Karma kanda. Let me do the rituals. Let me chant the mantras, etc. Let me do the sacrifices. This has more to do with bhakti, that, there's a divine being that existed before the creation of the universe that I'm in right now, right? Let me understand the divine being. And then text 48 is going to have a more organic approach, understanding God, conceiving of a form of God as knowledge or through knowledge.
No, I do like these ideas of cycles. Like even in the most grandest, the grandest understanding of the universe, there's a time of sleep, a time of rise, a time of creation, a time of maintenance, flowering, the seed, and it happens within everything. It happens within our own body. It happens within the body of a redwood tree. That happens to the body, the forest fire is burning down the forest, and then it's replenishing. There's like cycles in the micro and cycles in the macro. It's like the same Fibonacci spiral we're living in here.
Yes.
And now we're talking about the sleep time of the universe. Okay, here's 48. I am the reservoir of unlimited potency, and therefore I am known as unlimited or all-pervading. From my material energy, the cosmic manifestation appeared within me. And in this universal manifestation appeared the chief being, Lord Brahma, who is your source and is not born of a material mother.
Aja, he's called, right?
Aja means the original being.
Not born.
Yeah.
Brahma wasn't born from a mother. He was born from a lotus flower.
Yeah. Sounds crazy, right? So does everything was created from an explosion. That's, I think, pretty crazy too.
Yeah.
And it's something we can never get our handle on, that version of creation. It's got to be a little peculiar and magical. And what's more magical than there is an original being? That original being creates Prajapatis who create other species.
Yeah, we hear a little bit about that here, right? Daksha is being spoken to, and Daksha saying, "You came from Brahma. He also created others." Did it mention the 9 here? Or is that the next verse? You read the whole text 48.
Yeah.
But here, Prabhupada writes in the commentary, says, well, first of all, it mentions that Vishnu is the reservoir of unlimited potency. Okay, so we're trying to understand who this person is behind it, that, right? All potency is stemming from him is, what's the word I'm looking for when it's like when you talk about a fountain?
A fountainhead.
He's the fountain.
Genesis.
Yeah.
Source.
And Prabhupada writes, the first cause is the Lord himself, the supreme being. This is giving like a universal meaning. Well, there's always this eternal existence that's beyond this, that we're saying, that is the spiritual realm. But within the material realm, then time comes into effect, right? So the first cause is the Lord himself, the supreme person. From him, Brahma is created. Okay, so he does that in his own mystic way, right? He lies down, he sleeps in divine state of sleep. From his navel grows a lotus. Upon that lotus appears Lord Brahma. And Brahma takes charge of the affairs of the universe. The universal affairs of the material creation depend upon the material energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is therefore the cause of material creation. The entire cosmic manifestation is described herein as Guna Vigraha, the form of the Lord's qualities. So that's the way an insightful person sees the entire universe, right? This is the form of the Lord's qualities. Okay. Now text 49 and 50.
When the chief lord of the universe, Lord Brahma, having been inspired by my energy, was attempting to create, he thought himself incapable. Therefore,
Okay,
I gave
interesting,
him
right? This is interesting stuff because
the original self-doubt.
the original is exactly what it was. The original self-doubt. A pious Hindu will think of Lord Brahma as like his power seems it's like practically unlimited, right? It's like if there's one being that was there behind the engineering of the entire universe, well, my goodness, like that person must be have nothing but self-confidence, right?
Sure.
But we see that from the very beginning, his own vulnerability, his own limitations, his own self-doubt. So we read about that back in the second canto. Brahma's born on the lotus, everything's dark, and he's wondering, what am I meant to do, and how will I possibly accomplish it?
Okay, because of these austerities.
Why don't you start over again?
Okay. When the chief lord of the universe, Brahmaji, having been inspired by my energy, was attempting to create, he thought himself incapable. Therefore, I gave him advice, and in accordance with my instructions, he underwent extremely difficult austerities. Right? Same thing we said. Disciplines.
You want to say long meditation.
Yeah.
Long.
And because of these austerities, the great Lord Brahma was able to create 9 personalities, including you, Daksha, to help him in the functions of creation.
Do you know who the 9 are?
I think they are the
Well, who are the sons of Brahma?
well, there's the Saptarishis. I think those are the different than the progenitors. There's like Vishwamitra, Brigu, Agastya.
Well, you have certainly
Mara,
the Swayambhuva Manu.
Look up the Saptarishis, Mara.
You got the Swayambhuva Manu. He's one. But, there's Marichi, there's Atri. Lineages come down from
Atri,
them.
yes.
There's Pulastya, Angira, Vaishishta.
Are you reading this off something?
Pulaha, Atreya, Brigu, Kratu.
Okay.
There's also Lord Shiva, the 4 Kumars, and Narada Muni, but we don't, certainly from the 4 Kumars and Narada, we don't hear about lineage. Lord Shiva, he has
he's just like birthing everybody. It's like it's hard, and they're getting birthed in different litters, so to speak. There's like these Saptarishis, they're important. It made it sound like offense.
Among progenitors, certainly Swayambhuva is one. Certainly Marichi is one. Certainly Atri is one. Daksha is one. But I'm not sure who the 9 are.
Yeah, the interesting thing, I find this very interesting. Like, someone like Henry who listens to the podcast every day. Henry's one of these guys who like knows his family tree. They have like a family crest that goes back a few hundred years. But every Indian, if you ask any Indian, Hindu Indian, say, hey, what's your gotra, your family lineage? They will trace it back to one of these families. They'll trace their bloodline back to Agastya, Kaudinya, Brigu.
Yeah.
Right? They know their bloodline. It's quite amazing.
When you do a ritual in a temple in India, like say the priest is there, and you give a small donation. Maybe you come in there with like in the temple you can buy a little, maybe it's a little plate with some fruit and some flowers and maybe some tulsi leaves on it. And
the priest will ask you, what is your gotra?
Yeah, it's part of he's going to perform the ritual, and part of that ritual is identifying who we're talking about here. So if Lord Vishnu is on the altar and you're coming up, the priest is saying, okay, Lord Vishnu, this is Raghunath, and he's from this lineage, because there may be a lot of them out there. And so
there's a lot of Raghunaths out there.
Yeah. So as you're saying, when you're born in a Hindu family, it's common that the gotra that you're coming from, that's going back to the first beings in the universe, right? They're born of Lord Brahma. And but Prabhupada did give us a because we don't know any of that stuff.
No,
He told us what to say in such circumstances. What is the gotra of the Bhakti Vedantas, of the followers of the Western followers of Srila Prabhupada?
He said, I don't know where he got this from, but do you? The achyuta-gotra.
Achyuta-gotra.
So because sometimes, like, like me and Lori will go to the Ganga, and with everybody, and they'll say, and the priest will say, we're about to worship the Ganga with those big ghee lamps. They'll say, what is your gotra? What is your, and first they'll say, what is your name? What is your name? Okay, I want you to name everybody in your family, and you're supposed to like rattle off everybody because he's about to connect you with the Ganga.
Yeah.
And your family. And they said, what is your gotra? And so we say achyuta. So why did Prabhupada say achyuta? Do you know?
Well, achyuta means Krishna, right? Like, is my gotra coming through Marichi or from Swayambhuva Manu or from Agastya? That I don't know, but what I do know is that I come from Krishna.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
And so we can all say achyuta-gotra. We all come from Krishna's lineage. And particularly because I think honestly, I don't know, but it would seem to me Prabhupada's indicating that, hey, that's our connection, right? Whatever connection there is in this world is a temporary connection, but this is my eternal connection. I'm a follower of Krishna. My life is dedicated to Krishna. I come from Krishna. My gotra is the achyuta-gotra. I'm in Krishna's family. And when you sell to the priest, they're like, okay, achyuta-gotra.
Okay, it's Krishna's family. Good. You're
very good. Achyuta-gotra.
I'm even Krishna's family. Okay. I guess everybody in Wisdom of the Sages is part of Krishna's
We're all
family.
achyuta-gotra.
Okay.
We're all in Krishna's family. Yeah.
That's a much higher caste than the capos, I think. Which were like pig farmers.
Yeah. So did you read the whole verse? No. Yes, he created the 9 personalities, including you, to help him in the function of creation. And Prabhupada writes in the commentary, he says, in our material existence, we are impure. And therefore,
check.
Right, and that impurity is kind of like that covetousness that we were hearing about from Chanakya, right? And therefore, we cannot do anything wonderful. This is from Prabhupada's position, from his perspective as like a liberated being, right? It's like when you're stuck in material you can't do it. When you're free of that, you can do anything wonderful. But when you're stuck in that, you can't do anything. Even the things that you think are wonderful, they're not wonderful, So he says, in our material existence, we are impure, and therefore we cannot do anything wonderful. But if we purify our existence by tapasya, we can do wonderful things by the grace of the Lord. We can become this instrument, right?
Yeah.
If I want to become, one person I really see this in.
Who?
Is Ratna Swami.
Yeah.
when most people would never dare do what he did. Like, I'm going to hitchhike through the Middle East, wander up to the Himalayas, and, live by sleeping on the banks of rivers and in caves and just, like putting myself in danger and discomfort. That's a very austere life.
For a higher purpose. For a higher purpose. Higher spiritual purpose.
But setting even that consideration aside for a moment, just the austerity of it is something that's few of us have the courage or the ability to tolerate. But from that, you get Shakti, you get influence, you get power, and if that power is being used purely, it becomes a wonderful power in this universe, like a very beautiful, wonderful thing. We can see that, like amongst so many devotees, very few of us have the power to do the kind of things that he's done, like to create large projects that serve thousands and thousands of people and continue on like steadily. It's not easy to make that happen.
And then walk away from it and still have it going on just by his vision and by people's desire to want to serve. It's true. When you said that thing, like wonderful things can't be, what was that thing
Prabhupada said? He said, in our material existence, we are impure, and therefore we cannot do anything wonderful.
Right. I was thinking, and this morning we were talking about this too. We're reading the Krishna book this morning. How like we have become like immersed in the gunas of passion and ignorance, rajas and tamas.
Yeah.
That becomes our identity. So whenever we want to even do something good, it's going through the filter of tamas and rajas. We have to get our consciousness higher and higher and higher and lift this. All our desires, all our even our desire to have a good time or set up a good, do a good program or do something good for people, they'll all be through that filter of tamas and rajas. As soon as we start to bring the consciousness higher, then when we actually want to do good in the world, it'll do wonderful things.
Right.
Right.
Right. And so, Prabhupada says here, but if we purify our existence by tapasya, we can do wonderful things by the grace of the Lord. He's careful to, tack that on to the end.
Right.
And really what Prabhupada was doing when he came and he presented bhakti to people, again, not everyone coming from India back in the 60s and 70s, not all these different teachers were teaching, hey, you're going to have to apply some tapasya.
Sure.
And Prabhupada knew that because he wanted it to be authentic. But what he also was really insightful about was presenting the type of tapasya and the context for tapasya that would be possible and transformational for people from a total another world that had nothing to do with it previously, right? So he said, hey, you're gonna have to wake up early. Hey, you're gonna have to control yourself sexually. Hey, you're gonna have to change.
This was the 60s. You're like, hey, you got to take a bath.
What?
All right, now you pushed it too
Wake
far.
up early in the morning. So he gave the practice of bhakti, and he gave austerities to perform within the context of bhakti, not without the context of bhakti, but within the context of bhakti. That you take up austerities, as you were saying earlier today, that these are things that we do in devotion. I'll take up this, not just any random austerity to gain power, but an austerity that's meaningful and that's an expression of service. It's an act of service as an expression of devotion. Gita speaks about us. Should we do the different austerities there, Ragana?
Sure.
So
chapter 17.
This is text 14, 15, and 16. It gives us different austerities, and just think about this. Thinking about let me bring some austerity into my life, right? It sounds a little bitter in the beginning, but but before long it begins to you feel the nourishment from it. You feel that kind of contentment, that happiness that is contentment through it. So he says, Krishna says. And by the way, we should, of course, throw out there that there's that statement, austerity is the wealth of the brahmanas, right? For those who have no material wealth, they don't have money, they don't have a fancy house, they may live in a hut. What is their wealth? Their wealth is austerity in the sense that it gives them power, just like money may give you power.
Sure.
But austerity, for the brahmanas, they don't have money. They don't have a position, like a political position or a social position, like, of authority, in a sense, like they don't have people working under them or whatever, but they have austerity, right? And that austerity is their wealth. It is their power. So austerity of the body consists of worship of the Supreme Lord. That's how I use my hands. That when we fold the palms like that, right? It's like saying, here, my hands are yours, right? My body is you. I use my body in the worship.
Never said it like that, but yeah, my hands are your hands.
That's part of the. There's different meanings to it.
Take my hands, use them.
Yeah, there you go. Austerity of the body consists in worship of the Supreme Lord, the brahmanas, the guru, and superiors like father and mother.
Next time you do that to me, I'm going to take your hands. Namaste, Raghu. I was like, come here. Feed me with those hands of yours. Just gonna walk up to you with my mouth open.
And in cleanliness, this is more austerity of the body, keeping your body clean. When you take a shower, you can be thinking, I'm doing this as a practice of austerity in devotion, right? In cleanliness, in simplicity, celibacy, and nonviolence. These are austerities of the body. Now, perhaps some of the most important austerities of speech, how you use your words, right?
Yeah. What comes out of your mouth?
Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing,
Yeah.
beneficial,
Mm-hmm.
and not agitating others.
Yeah.
And also in regularly reciting Vedic literature.
Yes.
Just
Mara,
take
my
this
my
one
practical
verse.
jokes, Mara, are those agitating to others?
No, Prabhu.
Okay.
They're
Okay.
pleasing to others. So this one verse is, you can, if any of us say, I am going to really build my life around this verse, it will transform your entire life.
Hmm.
Speak words that are truthful, not going to lie, not going to mislead. Speak words that are pleasing. Speak words that are beneficial. Stop speaking words that aren't, right?
Right.
It's wasted talk. You control what you talk, you begin to control how you think. You purify your speech, you purify your mind and the minds of those around you. Not agitating others, right? And then and to nourish all that and to make all that possible, regularly reciting the Vedic literature. Right? Okay. And then text 16, and here's the austerities of the mind. So we went body, words, and mind. Austerities of the mind are satisfaction, kind of what Janakya was saying, contentment.
Yeah, contentment.
Right? Simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence are the austerities of the mind. Right? I'm going to keep them all pure. I'm going to engage them all in austerity. I'm going to work them all. I'm going to purify them all. I'm going to nourish them all. Body, mind, and words. Body, words, and mind. Right?
Look what the Chandra wrote on the message board.
What do you write?
The devotee thinks. It's an acronym.
An acronym?
An acronym. Truth is T, truthful, satyam. H, helpful, hitam.
Oh, this is what our speech should be. It should be
Our speech, yeah.
Thinks.
Inspiring.
But think before you speak. I guess that's probably what this is all about, right?
Yeah. Necessary. There's hitam again. Kind. And
from scripture.
Shabda, Svadhyaya.
Oh, this is a little mnemonic device, Raghunath.
A mnemonic? Isn't that an acronym?
Well, it's both. But
Okay.
it's a mnemonic is something that makes it easy to memorize.
Oh, that's what a mnemonic is.
The austerities of speech. Yes. When you think before you speak, right? Thinks.
I get it.
Truthful, helpful. What was it?
Okay.
Inspiring, necessary, kind, and from scripture. Thinks.
Right.
Can you close your eyes and do that right now, Raghunath?
No, I can't. Not do that. I can't think now. Mara, can you think now? It's takeaway. Give us some takeaway, please. What you got?
Yeah, is it that time already?
Did you take notes?
Of course, Prabhu. You think I just sit here and knit?
Well,
did you ever get that shastra astra thing?
No, Richie Rich sent me a link to Astra in the Sanskrit dictionary online, but it gave us the definition of Astra, but I couldn't find it with shastra as a compound word.
Okay. Let me look up shastra in the Sanskrit.
You want Sanskrit definitions, you come to me.
Well, then why didn't you give it?
Well, if I said it in a confident voice, you would have
sure.
been like, oh, right, that's wise.
Okay. All right. Takeaways. Put your worries in the greater plan bag and hand it over to Krishna.
Yeah, put them in a bag.
The best austerity is a balanced mind.
Okay.
There you go.
Desire what will nourish your soul.
Desire what will nourish your soul. Yep, like that.
The desire to serve others. The desire to serve others helps us.
Yes, it does.
Shastra calls us to be cool-headed.
Keep it cool.
Weapon of sound.
Cool. Purify our life by tapas to do wonderful things.
Ooh, I like that.
Mhm.
Do wonderful things. How about that? Bumper
Do we
sticker.
Oh, by the way, I'm pulling up some stuff here.
What do you?
Ooh,
What
what you got?
do you got? You got secret access to Google?
I do. From the Sanskrit dictionary, shastra, order, command, precept, rule. So it does, even the word shastra kind of has that, I don't know, militaristic kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so more connection to the astra, to the weapon thing. Shastra, any instrument of teaching. Right. So instrument is there. Any
Okay.
manual compendium of rules, any Bach or treatise. Shastra, body of teaching, learning. Yeah, I'll keep working on this, see if I come up with anything more.
All right, I still got a couple more takeaways left.
Okay. Yeah. That was good.
Choose austerity of body, words, and mind.
Like it.
Purify your speech to purify your mind.
And purify your environment.
And we're all in Krishna's family, the achyuta-gotra.
There you go.
I like that. Very good. Thanks. And thanks everybody live here in Nashville, Tennessee. Harry Bull. Including the teacher trainees that came from all over the world to be here today. Flew in for a little reunion. Thanks to Soul Yoga Soul, Nashville. Yoga Soul. If you're ever in this area, you got to come here. Great programs.
Oh,
Here
got
tomorrow
it,
morning again.
Got it.
What do you got, Kastuba? You got some incredible information here for us? What's up?
Shastra refers to Vedic scripture derived from the Sanskrit verbal root shash, to govern, command.
I like mine better. Shabda Astra. Boom.
Shastra refers to scripture, especially Vedic scripture.
Well, we know that.
I'm just reading what I got here.
Okay. All right, everybody. Having Kirtan tonight. Looking forward to it. It's a beautiful sunny day in Nashville. Looking forward to it.